Yen.
Why won't you love us, Trevor? Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776, 800-919 ESPN for the next hour until Game 6 of the World Series. It is the Dodgers. It is the Rays. We are on Twitter, at Chris Carlin. We, of course, can be heard all over the world on smart speakers, on ESPNNewYork.com, and you can also be seen now as well on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, and also on Facebook.com/Chris Carlin Sports. So, earlier today, everything, I got to admit, it was a bad day from the get-go. Somehow, and only me, somehow, this is just how out of shape I am. I pulled a hamstring sleeping. I am not exaggerating. I went to bed just fine, and I woke up with a pulled right hamstring. So that's how it all started, which is not a good beginning. And then later in the day, I read and then later heard a comment that just sounded the alarm, and it wasn't for Richard. Oh my God. It is something that I have been talking about for quite some time, and that is the need of the New York Jets to make sure that Trevor Lawrence will love them. And today was the first indication that maybe he won't when he met the media in Clemson, South Carolina.
You thought at all about, is there anything that might make you reconsider? You've been very upfront about this being your final season here. I'm just curious if there's anything that would make you reconsider coming back to Clemson for another year.
Man, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see how things unfold. I think there's a lot of factors in that, but honestly, just really playing this year, putting everything I have into it, not really focusing on next year, whether, I leave or stay, whatever. Obviously, I have the option to do either one. Kind of my mindset's been that I'm going to move on, but who knows? There's a lot of things that could happen. So just really focusing on this year, not trying to look ahead, not trying to worry about that. Obviously, I can't control it, and really just trusting that God has a plan for me no matter where that is, no matter where I go, whether that's across the country, whether that's close to home, where I stay another year, no matter what it is, we'll work it out. So I'm not sure. That's a tough one, but we'll see how it all unfolds.
No! Why all of a sudden is it a tough one? It's because it's the Jets, and it's because of their ineptitude. Now, was that a definitive, you know what, I'm leaning more and more towards sticking around? No. But what it was a signal. We're shooting a flare up in the air down from Death Valley. And that flare is basically saying to the Jets, get your house in order. If you believe for a minute that Trevor Lawrence doesn't have any real power here and he just has to go play for whoever he has to go play for, you are out of your mind and delusional about the situation. Trevor Lawrence has more power than perhaps any number one pick ever. Everybody believes he's the best talent. Everybody believes he's the best quarterback. Everybody believes that Trevor Lawrence is the guy that will be a generational and potentially Hall of Fame quarterback, and he is universally regarded that way by talent evaluators everywhere, more so than anyone else since Andrew Luck. I hear that, and it just makes me think that Trevor has to understand that this can be a place where he can be like no other. Think about what potentially lies in front of this young man to be able to lead the New York Jets back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 50 years, and just how special that accomplishment would be. You can't talk about other quarterbacks and put them in that same category if you're Trevor Lawrence and the Jets. You can't. It's a completely different feat. There is no organization in the National Football League, even though things have been worse other places. There is no organization in the National Football League that is regarded more as one that is snake bitten than the New York Jets. And they have a coach in place right now who is not going to be the coach moving forward. And they have to understand that. You have to, Trevor, if you're paying attention, know that he is not going to be your guy. That you will be able to see that they pick a coach that will be commensurate with your ability. It won't even necessarily be about the head coach developing the quarterback. It'll be about the head coach and his mentality in driving an organization. You will have a power structure that should be more in line with what other teams are doing, of a GM actually picking a head coach, and you have a general manager whose virtually entire pedigree comes from that of the Baltimore Ravens. Learns almost everything he knows from Ozzie Newsome. There's nobody better to learn from. This guy in Joe Douglas is going to make the right selection if it is left up to him. This is not about whether or not it's going to be the guy you see on the other sideline this week, if it's Eric Bieniemy. No. It's going to be more about someone who truly leads, whether that's Bieniemy, whether that's somebody else, whether you want to go and try and get a big name and trade for somebody who's looking for a new challenge, whether it's John Harbaugh, somebody like that, or just frankly, somebody of that same mindset. This kid has to be made known of everything that is going to be happening here in the coming months. That coming to the New York Jets is not a death sentence for your career. Coming to the New York Jets is going to be something special. Imagine that I just said that. I have taken phone call after phone call after phone call from Jet fans in this city who complain, and understandably so, who just feel like they're never going to get it right. Well, at some point, you're going to get it right. At some point, you're going to get a coach and a general manager working symbiotically to build an organization. The Jets are in a complete rebuild right now. And that's not 5 years in the NFL. It's 2, maybe 3. They can hit the reset button with not having to pay the quarterback right away. And Trevor will fit brilliantly into this city. But when I hear that statement with a lot of whatever, I mean, I want to hear it again.
You thought at all about, is there anything that might make you reconsider? You've been very upfront about this being your final season here. I'm just curious if there's anything that would make you reconsider coming back to Clemson for another year.
Man, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see how things unfold. I think there's a lot of factors in that, but honestly, just really
we'll just have to see how
playing
things
this
unfold.
year, putting everything I have into it, not really focusing on next year, whether I leave or stay, whatever. Obviously, I have the option to do either one.
I can do what I want.
Kind of my mindset's been that I'm going to move on, but who knows? There's a lot of things that could happen. So just really focusing on this year, not trying to look ahead.
Somebody else could trade for the number 1 pick.
And really just trusting that God has a plan for me no matter where that is, no matter where I go, whether that's across the country, whether that's close to home, where I stay another year, no matter what it is, we'll work it out. So I'm not sure. That's a tough one, but we'll see how it all unfolds.
God has a plan for him. That plan is to be the Savior. He's done it a few times before. You know, he's tapped some guys on the shoulder before and said, you're the guy. Maybe he's going to do that here, and hopefully he doesn't ignore the signs. But that today, when I first read and then heard that, there was a lot of messages being sent in there. Not Jets don't draft me, because I'm not coming there. Let's get your house in order. This is why there's one job. Make Trevor Lawrence love you. Make him love you between now and April or May, whenever the draft is this coming year. So there will be no doubt that that will be a very good marriage from day one. 713 open lines, Carlin. Let's go. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN on Twitter at Chris Carlin. By all means, we have open lines, and we have just under an hour to get it all in. So let's get going. This portion of Carlin on 98.7 ESPN brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery. Today just got a little more exciting because you have the chance to win $116 million with Powerball. Talk about a way to shake things up. So keep it interesting. Take your shot, because anything can happen in Jersey. Open lines, let's go. You and me, next.
Today, it's Game 6.
There we go.
Angeles Dodgers.
This
Now watch me whip, kill it. Watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip. Watch me nay nay. Can you do it? Now watch me.
Carlin,
Watch me.
98.7 ESPN 800-919-3776. Limited amount of time. So let's get in as many calls as we can. We got the open line, so that's what they're there for. Let's do it. Dre in Jersey City up first. Dre, what up?
Hey, Carlin, what's going on, man? I just have an issue with, like, Trevor Lawrence. They saying, like, he's the next coming of this and that.
Well, he didn't say it.
And
I said it.
I mean, it's
many
like
other people have said it.
The scouts say it. But, I mean, I think the real steal is Justin Fields, honestly. I think the kid is, like, not getting enough credit for it. And, you know, if you look at Lamar Jackson, he's a once-in-a-lifetime generational player, but nobody gives him that credit. And it's like it only happens like with like a white quarterback. I've never understood.
I don't think it's a white-black thing. I'm sorry. In this case, I don't think it's a race
like
thing.
That. I'm just saying.
It's not.
Like, you know, like. But it's weird. I think Justin Fields might be the steal of the draft. Honestly,
he might. Listen, Justin Fields may end up being better than Lawrence. I don't see it. I think now, admittedly, I haven't seen Justin Fields enough. I saw him plenty last year. I need to see him more this year. I'm going to see him in person next week. And I like him a lot as a player, and I think he's got a chance to be a really good NFL quarterback. I'm sorry, I've seen too much of Lawrence, and it's not close. It's not close right now. Maybe it will be at the end of the year. Right now, it's not close.
All right, thanks a lot, Carlin. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, Dre. Look, Fields is an excellent player. And we're going to get a much better feel for what he is about in the coming weeks. But right now, all eyes are on Clemson, South Carolina, as they should be. And I got to tell you, there is no question in my mind, no question, that had this been a situation where we weren't in a pandemic, or it was a little bit more tenable to do, I absolutely would have wanted to put together a trip for Jet fans. You know, pay their way. We take about 30, 40 guys and women, whoever wants to come. Everybody gets a number 16 Jets jersey or jersey or whatever you want to call it, in green. And they're at the stadium. And you make sure, as a good friend of mine said today, that it's a blowout game. So those TV guys on the ACC network are looking for something to talk about. And they see a lot of green jerseys in one section, and there may only be 20,000 people in the stadium. They're going to be very, very, very noticeable. Make that kid love you. Buddha in the Bronx. Buddha, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on, Cat Daddy? Woo! I've finally seen a light at the end of the tunnel. When Lawrence came out and said whatever he said or didn't say whatever he said, particularly, I was so happy. You know why? Because I don't want to use the race card as a caller before did, but I have to agree with him 1,000%.
But you agree with him that Fields is a better player, but you don't agree that it's a race thing.
No, I don't think it's a race thing. But I mean, we spoke about this 1,000 times already, bro. I've called every show here.
Just clarifying for those who haven't heard you.
Listen, all I want to hear is all I want to see is the Giants. Now I'm rooting for them to win, and now I'm rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals to win. Because if the Bengals get the second pick, that's going to be a problem because they already have a quarterback. They're going to try to hold us hostage. And if the Giants get the second pick, they don't trade with the Jets. We need to set that up. You let Lawrence know, look, we're gonna draft you and we're gonna trade you to Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully that they're the team that comes up second. You give me Fields, you give me Harbaugh, and I'm good, bro. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I need. That's what I want. That's what will excite me. That's what I think the Jets.
Trevor Lawrence will not excite you.
Trevor Lawrence is not coming here, and we've
but it's not definitive that he's not coming here. That was to me throwing up some smoke signals about get your house in order.
He's not all right. That's the way you took it because you want to have him here.
No. That was not Trevor Lawrence saying I'm not going to the Jets. That was Trevor Lawrence saying, you know what? this situation up there better be better than it is right now.
Listen, in life we hear what we want to hear. You want Trevor Lawrence here.
And I think you heard what you wanted to hear, too.
Come in here. I told you that 1,000 times, and I'm okay with that. What the Jets need, we've always been the antithesis of the Giants. The Jets need a mobile, running, different type of a quarterback.
Lawrence is mobile.
What we've had
he's
here.
not like he's not Justin
mobile.
Fields, but he's
not
mobile.
mobile like Fields. You get Fields here with Harbaugh. You get Harbaugh coming here and get those linebackers rolling the way they used to.
Now you're talking about Jim or John?
I'm talking about Jim Harbaugh.
Oh God. Oh, Buddha, I'm sorry.
I know you don't like him.
Get out of here. Get out of here. You're 0 for 2. You're 0 for 2 here. Thanks for the call. And this one, no. If you're talking about John and making a trade to get him, then I get it. You don't want Jim Harbaugh anywhere near the New York Jets. Jim Harbaugh is a guy that, yes, he went to the Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. He's a good head coach, but he wears out his welcome, and it happens quicker rather than over a longer haul now. There's a reason why he's perfect for college. Players are there for 4 years, and then they're out. And then let the next group deal with them. You don't want Jim Harbaugh to be the coach here. You don't want that. Aiden is not there. He hung up. So we're going to go to Anthony in Glen Cove. Anthony, what do you got, buddy?
Big fan. Thanks for taking the call. I think the bigger question here, Trevor Lawrence, the kid Fields from Ohio State, who knows? That'll play out the way it plays out. I think the bigger question here as a Jet fan is, do we trust Joe Douglas making this franchise pick? I don't.
Why?
He's had a lot of misses in Philadelphia, especially offensively. Now you give him.
Who did he miss with offensively?
I can name names: wide receivers, defensive line guy. I said offensively. He missed on D line.
I can give you a couple of the guys that he missed with. Did he miss with Derek Barnett? Barnett has not been the player that they hoped he would be. I think you could say they missed with Sidney Jones when they took a shot on him in the second round. He was regarded as the best corner in the draft until he got hurt, and he never developed. Rasul Douglas, he didn't develop either. But I'm going to go based on what I've seen right here. They've also drafted and gotten some other guys in place that look fantastic. Guys that were big parts of that Eagles championship team, like going out and getting Tim Jarnigan, players like that really, really helped them. I'm looking at the fact that he drafted Mekhi Becton, who I think we can agree looks pretty good. And we're hoping that Mims continues to develop. It was a positive sign day one, and then we'll see from there. I personally, knowing the role that he played in Philadelphia and understanding the school of thought that he comes from in Baltimore, I do trust him to be the guy.
My question is this. Is it ever going to be, and that's fine, like I said, hit or miss, I'm hoping he hits. He's going to be the guy to make the pick. When is he going to get to bring in his own head coach?
This year.
It's never going to.
Do you honestly think Adam Gase is going to be the head coach after this season?
Yes.
Oh, no. You got to get that out of your head, Anthony. He's going to be gone, and thanks for the call.
He's got the vote of confidence.
The vote of confidence doesn't mean jack squadoosh. If you go 0-16, you're not going to be the head coach. If you go 0-9, he might get fired at the bye week. Yes, he's going to have to wait. Thanks for the call, Anthony. He's going to have to wait just a little while longer, but there's no way in hell that he is going to be the head coach here next year. He's not. And there are going to be a lot of people carrying torches if he is. He's not going to be the head coach. Come on. We know this. We know this. There is no reason to think otherwise. Dan is in Albany, New York, and Dan's a Bills fan. So, good for him. What's up, Dan?
What's up, Chris? How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. So I just basically called to say that you know, I have no problem with Gate, but the fact that he was able to give up his responsibilities to his OC says something about him. Now, being that as it may,
Yeah, it took only, what, a year for it to happen?
That's true, but at the same time, some coaches would never do that. I mean, I'm a football coach myself. Give up some kind of responsibility like that, you have to try me out like that, you know. So just any kind of credit, I give him credit for that. But
All right, so Patton Oswalt can call a better game in the first half than he did the other day. In the second half, they had 4 yards.
Bring up a good point. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, I like Perriman. I think they could definitely build an offense around Perriman, and I agree with you on Lawrence, but at the same time, you know, do you think Lawrence is going to start right away, or do you think they're going to keep Darnold and let him develop if Trevor Lawrence comes?
If the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold's gone. He's going to get traded. Thanks for the call, Dan. If that happens, he's gone. Make no mistake about it. They will trade him. I don't know what they will get in return because they have to trade him. It will probably not be what you want it to be. It might be a third-round pick. But if they draft Trevor Lawrence, Sam's not sticking around. And if I was Sam, I wouldn't want to. It's clear it's not my team. I want to go somewhere else where I'm going to have a shot. Because he still is 23 years old. And I know, guys, I know all about the fact that he's just 23 and he's been through a lot and he hasn't had anything and all that. You don't pass up on a can't miss. It's 7:29. It's Carlin at 98.7 ESPN. 800-919-3776. As many of your calls as we can squeeze in before the top of the hour. It is Game 6 of the World Series. The Dodgers of Los Angeles and the Tampa Bay Rays. They are coming up in just a little bit. The Dodgers with a chance to close it out. We will have that game live for you with Dan Schulman and Chris Singleton in just a little while. And between now and then, we will also get into the closer and closer and closer that Steve Cohen gets to being the Mets' new owner and the first thing that they should do in terms of player acquisition this offseason. That's on the way as well. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN. You know, they will let Trevor Lawrence know what's going on and what they're doing to try to position themselves accordingly. Couple of others. Let's see here. Some of the other likes. I had one a second ago, and now it's gone. Yeah, well, we'll get back to it. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. Let us get to Mike in the car phone. He is up next. Mike, what's going on, bud?
Hey, Carlin. Yeah, I'm a big Eagles fan, born in New York, but I just wanted to touch on the Jets, just like you were talking about. I think Adam Gase obviously needs to go. I think they need to scrap that playbook and scrap that game plan and just go with something completely fresh. And as well as Trevor Lawrence mobility, obviously the guy doesn't need to rush around when they're beating teams 70 points plus. You know, obviously it's not an issue for him. But the guy's built just like Lamar Jackson, and I'm sure once he touches into the league, he'll start to see that mobility.
Well, but I don't think he's Lamar Jackson fast. I don't think he's that explosive of a player in that regard. I just think he's a phenomenal quarterback who's going to be a star in the league for a long, long time.
Exactly. Yeah, he has that pocket pass thing locked down, I think, but I think he's a lot more mobile than people think that he is. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the need to run as much, and you'll definitely start to see that when he touches in the league, as well as the mobile thing. If the Jets wanted to try the mobile thing, I think they could have definitely have went and tried and got Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Chargers, and if anything, you know, he could have given him a run, but I think it's too late in the season. They're obviously not going to win out, and I think it's a long shot now.
Tyrod Taylor, I mean, everywhere the guy goes, he gets knocked out, and the next guy becomes a star. Thanks for the call. He's usually the guy who's there as the placeholder. And I feel bad for him, but unfortunately, every time he's gotten himself going, he ends up getting hurt. And then the next thing you know, Justin Herbert is lighting it up all over the place. Isn't that bothersome? I mean, to me, the Bengals, the Chargers, have better offensive talent than the Jets. But isn't it bothersome to see Burrow and Herbert playing at such a high level right now? Does that bug you at all? Bugs me a little bit. Now, we saw Darnold in his rookie year play at a high level in some cases, but he has completely regressed. Phil on the car phone is next, 98.7 ESPN. Phil.
Hey, Chris, how are you? Big fan, bud.
Phil, what do you got, brother?
I'm coming way, way out of left field. Uh-oh. You know the only way Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jets.
Don't say it.
Who do they hire?
I think you're going to say they hired Dabo Swinney.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
What do you think? No, I don't like him, but What do you think?
I don't think that's necessarily needed. What I would think might be interesting is if you took a guy who has been, I think his last name is Streeter. I forget his first name. But a guy who's been his quarterback coach basically since he arrived on campus. Like, there was a story I was reading about him last week where he was helping Trevor Lawrence with all of his bags and stuff when he moved in on campus. And they have had an incredibly tight relationship. Maybe I consider that guy to be my quarterback coach, you know, to try to get him on board with that kind of thing. I mean, like, this is full out college basketball type recruiting, right? Hire your uncle to be your assistant coach or special assistant in charge of player development, stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of thing we see all the time. It's Brandon Streeter is the name of the guy. Thank you to our buddy Ty Butler who came through with that. It is Brandon Streeter. And he is somebody like, look, I don't know if Brandon Streeter's a great coach. He's obviously got a great quarterback, but they've worked well together. That's the kind of thing I think you have to look at. You're not letting him pick the head coach, of course. But what you have to do is make sure that the head coach is attractive enough that it makes it feel like everything's going in the right direction.
Yeah. Do you think Eric Bieniemy, you know, does it for...
I think Eric Bieniemy is... I don't know enough about him as a leader, and thanks for the call. I would like to talk to somebody that knows Eric Bieniemy well, or that played for Eric Bieniemy. Maybe we'll do that this week. Somebody that played for Eric Bieniemy when he was coaching somewhere, whether it's with the Chiefs, whether it's with, he was coaching back at Colorado, wherever, to get a true feel for what he's about. Since the Jets are playing the Chiefs this week, maybe we'll do that. That's a good idea. I think Eric Bieniemy should deserve an opportunity. Not should, does deserve an opportunity. The guy's done everything there is to do. And if you remember, we talked to Herm Edwards about this a few months ago when the incentivizing of hiring African Americans as coaches kind of ticked him off. He's like, well, what's always going to be the knock for a guy who's Andy Reid's assistant? Well, Andy calls the plays. Doug Peterson left. Andy was calling the plays for the most part in Kansas City when Doug Peterson was there, and Doug did okay. Won a Super Bowl when he left. They may be struggling a little bit now, but they're still going to win the division. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. First move the Mets have to make once free agency opens up. It's becoming clearer by the moment. Open lines, as many of your calls as we can get in before the top of the hour. It is Game 6 of the World Series between the Dodgers and the Rays. Right here, 98.7 ESPN.
Today.